Hey, good day, everyone. I just tried to do a short video on impatience and the importance of why it must go. And I was just assisting another a little bit ago, and this important topic come up. And during the course of assisting this lady, I was given a perhaps a better way of explaining it and why it must go. So I'm taking this opportunity while it's still good and fresh inside, this brain of many things to share it with you as well. And, she received it quite well. She is an intelligent, divine angel. And nevertheless, it resonated fully with her and it was easily perceived. So, let's first look at impatience, what we know about it. So, impatience is an act, and it it's a sensation as well, and it really is an act of fear that is emitted from the brain. It's a let's say when you have impatience, when you're standing in a line, in a waiting at a cashier in a line in a grocery store again, we'll go to that scenario. What your brain is thinking about, it's thinking about where you wish to be next, where you want to go immediately. And your brain is saying, I don't want to be here in line, this is mundane or what have you. But what's actually happening is that there is a battle at that time that goes on between the heart and the brain. And the battle that is actually there is that heaven patience, it comes from the heart seat. It is your guidance. So when you have patience, you know, for example, you're standing in line, and when you incorporate patience and go from the not fear-based act, and then what may occur is that you will have the opportunity to perhaps, look around the store while you're waiting, perhaps see a synchronicity, see some numbers, or see some signs, or, it also gives you the opportunity um, to perhaps interact with another on a good level. But not only that, by having the patience and following the heart, it keeps you in a certain spot in time and on the surface. And it's so important where you're an energetic being, everything you do and everything you think of at this point affects your reality. So, for instance, if you're standing in line and you're allowing this impatience to control you, what you will find is that there'll be a lot of rapid images, put in the mind. Oh, I'd rather be laying on the beach. I'd rather be home with the children. Uh, so you'll see that it causes confusion. And what this does, it lowers your vibration. It makes you antsy, and it starts projecting the sensitivity to your body that you're jumping around. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. So you can see how it's controlling you to act in a manner that is absolutely ridiculous and is against all that you are. So impatience at that point is controlling you, to act in these levels, but it's coming from the brain, and it's also controlling you to get out of that store very quickly, when in fact you're most likely not meant to get out of that store, that you must wait there for the divine timing for perhaps who you will meet when you walk out of the store. Because if you go by what the brain's telling you and the fear-based impatience, you may leave the store, uh, just go get in your car and take off. Meanwhile, you were supposed to have patience, and there was someone very special you were supposed to meet there. Let's use a male, for instance, a masculine that was standing in line, and he allowed the impatience to control him. You know, so he left. He left the line and got impatient. And let's say what could have been set up for him, if he would have had the patience, that he could have been, walking out the door, and it was divinely time for him to meet his divine twin, or dream girl of his life. But where he allowed impatience and fear to control the situation and to control him, it placed him on a totally different timeline. But it also placed him on a timeline where he had lowered his vibration. He got in his vehicle. He was impatient. The impatience had grown to anger. So he got in his vehicle, and he's very pissed off. So he's driving, thinking about in the store, and about his impatience, and perhaps even cursing, and bang, then he's in an accident. So then that makes him more kind of mad. The police come and starts giving tickets, and he gets a little bit more aggressive because he's attracting all of these negative things. And well, the police say, well, maybe we better lock you up. So then he gets in jail, and through all the negative things, he finds he doesn't have his phone, and he just continuously attracts the negativity. But the reason why he would do that is that he's a divine masculine coming into his prowess as well. And there is a difference between him and just a regular human, because a regular human, well, they'll have a couple negative incidents and they'll get it set out. But where he's a powerful divine one, his energy is being increased, his rate of manifestation is increasing, but he has become more powerful, and he just negatively charged his polarity and his aura with negativity, which begins, because it's very powerful now, it begins attracting more and more of the negativity just so rapidly. So you can see what he has set off. So, with impatience, it's why it is fear-based, and it's also very important to master that, to not do it. Do not be in a rush, no matter what, because you are now not working from linear time here. You are no longer human in a human hustle and bustle. You are stepping into your divinity, which does not work on linear time. And, part of your development and your education back to what and who you are is that you must have patience and follow the guidance. And it is very important where you are at all times upon the surface, because of who you will meet, because it's divinely ordained and orchestrated and set up for you. So, one of the last things I know that I would not wish to do is prolong things. Many of you want to get out of here, so there is a little bit of impatience attached with that, too. You want to get out of here. But the quickest way to get out of here is to master the fears that are controlling you and restricting you from the magic. And impatience is one of them. It is so important because impatience will affect everything you do in the day. So you have to master it and change that mentality. So I hope this assists more of you, and I try to, give you examples and explain to you what was actually happening with it. Perhaps I can go, perhaps what I can say as well is that the feeling and sensation of impatience is actually caused when your brain is in conflict with your heart. And, again, um, I'd like to use, something that I say often is that your heart knows. Your brain only thinks it knows. You must follow your heart. So therefore, your heart knows to have patience. That patience is much more powerful than impatience. So your heart needs to train the brain in that respect as well, to let things develop. You are part of a divine plan. And when you have patience and sit still when you're supposed to, then things work out much better with you. And you don't sit still for always. What you do is that you have patience, you sit down, but then you get from your heart, okay, I must move and go over there. So you're following your heart's guidance, your divine guidance at that point. So you're not really ever stagnant, but by following the patience, you are more on track to your divinity, and you have less obstacles that you must deal with, less negative things. So when you incorporate the patience, then you do not have those aspects of negativity that are associated with the impatience. You do not have those aspects of fear that become hindrances at placing you in the divine place at the right time. This is what's very important, and many of you will know this. And this is how, you get your beautiful pictures of the miraculous things, how you meet people for the first time, that is so magical. And this is when it occurs, but it occurs more often. You've had impatience in the past, but you were showing some of the miracles. They still come in because they had to be, to show you. And also for this time, for this opportunity of just me speaking to you, but, any others that may be sharing, the same wisdom. It was set up also for this time to understand that. Do not just have patience, and you just go with the divine flow. Like Wayne Millette says, traffic jams seem to get to me. Yeah, Wayne, what you just said there is that, yeah, they control you, the fear of it. So don't do it. If you're in a traffic jam, know you're there for a divine reason. You have seen the magic. You know it's happening. You have your own confirmations. So you know that there is something much bigger happening than you upon the planet. But you know that you are part of it. So trust it. And if you've got to sit in a traffic jam for 24 hours, well, guess what? Divinely, you were supposed to be there. This is what's important. So it keeps everyone, and when you have everyone practicing this, you become more efficient as an operating collective, because then each one of you is able to be in the most favorable place on this linear time at one time. So when we have everyone that is right where they need to be, guess what? That is so powerful, because you are triggering so much of the magic. You are opening so many doorways to the other dimensions with your energy. You are creating the miracles, and the ripple effects are continuous of that. And it's so powerful. So very important to just have full patience. Don't worry if you're an hour late before if you're working, that if you're an hour late, hey, because you're supposed to be. And if you get fired, that was meant to happen. So just don't have preconceived notions of where you must go next. You're supposed to be in this now. And this is why, we emphasize how important it is to be in this now and take direction from your heart rather than going from the brain in your early stages of development. After you have integrated the brain and trained it and connected with the heart, then you can trust your brain and your heart as a whole. And you don't need to go into the heart as much. You will receive the messages telepathically, or you will access them from the etheric realms or a higher version and a future version of yourself, what to do, because you have those gifts activated and they're operating, and you can trust them because you have tested them, and you knew that they were true, and you have received your confirmations that you have them. So, you go by this, and it is so very easy for me to sit back here and say all I have said. And now we do know that there is a process with this, with mastering the fears. But, to look at the impatience, this gives you one product that you really do need to master as well, because it is a fear aspect. And you do not want it controlling you. You want your heart, in conjunction with divinity, controlling your timelines in your future. So you remain in the now, and you go with the prompts, the guidance from your heart. When it's time to move, you go with your heart. Do not be rushed. Do not rush. And especially with driving, if you're on the highways, and, for some of you, you have an energetic field that is an energetic bubble that is with you. And if you're driving, let's say, down the highway at 100 miles an hour, you are a very powerful force of energy that is going before you as well. And it's going to change things in that reality. And there is such a point where you can exceed in this time and space where your energy should be. And when that happens, it can cause perhaps serious consequence beyond what you could imagine on a human logical level. So it's very important as well to follow the inner guidance. If you're driving on a 60-mile-an-hour highway, but you feel that you must slow down to 50 miles, follow that, because there is a reason for that as well. But again, anything I say, test it all. Do the opposite of what I say if you need to. Then you'll quickly confirm it and eradicate the doubt. You will see and you will know in your brain that it is truth. That way, it expedites what you must learn. What I can tell you is that, yes, it needs to go, that it is a hindrance. All of these fear aspects are to everyone. I try to share with you ways that I know how to master them, and as much information as I can, and to try to keep it in layman's terms, and to express the utmost clarity that I can with these subjects. And but each, to your own perspective, will perceive what I say in the manner in which you are supposed to receive it. And with some things I say, it will not resonate for them, and others it will. And but it's not saying that anything is right or wrong. It's just that it's not for them at that time. So again, I was going to keep this short, and here I was for 19 minutes. And I just wish that I've said enough for you to understand the importance of getting rid of impatience. It really is kind of simple, but I'm just wish that I touched on the most simplistic way to purvey it to you, to present it to you. So I love you guys. I'm very busy, and trying to answer messages that I have in my PMs that have been there, from August or September. There are so many I have not assisted yet because messages from new ones daily and from you keep coming in. And as I keep cleaning out the new ones to try to get to the bottom ones, more comes in. And when I go to the bottom ones, I'm unable to get a hold of some of those because it's been so long. So it's quite a process with this. So to remedy, this, I ask for your assistance. Do not PM me unless it's very important. Please do not just send me random things like videos or what others are putting out. I do not require that. I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for your sharing. But my focus and my mission and my purpose here is to assist and teach others with what I have. I really speaking my truth, I don't need what others are putting out to assist with others. Sometimes I do, but if I need that, I manifest it, that it comes up in my feeds or I'm guided directly to it. So I thank you, with your good intent in that respect, but I ask you to refrain from sending me anything that is not important, just an important message. I love your hearts and all of this, but I also ask at this time if you refrain from sending any of that love through private messages as well until I get this backlog cleaned up. I'm here on linear time, and there's only so much you can do in linear time, and it's consuming a lot of my time trying to weed through messages that they are all important, but that do not require a response. But I don't know if they require a response until I open the message up, and then then I see no. Then I got to go through that process of deleting it. You may think one message just doing that is nothing, which it is, but when you think of hundreds of messages, well, and you're doing that to them all the while there's another 20 messages coming in while you're doing the process. It's kind of like a never-ending loop. So to assist with that, I ask you to refrain not to PM me unless it's important. I wish to try to clean up this backlog. So I love you guys and girls, of course, and and I love all of this. It's fun. It's hard work, being divine, but we're the ones to do it. And if we couldn't do it, we wouldn't be here. And hey, we're making some amazing leaps and bounds. So keep on keeping on, and do what resonates with you to empower yourself the most, including getting rid of impatience. It no longer serves. So just get it, put it in the garbage, and throw it out on the curb, and never to come back. You don't need it. You're strong without it. You're stronger without it. You don't need it. Okay. I love you. Peace, and have a great day. Thank you so much.